You are the driver of innovation and economic growth. Yeah, the economic situation being what it is, we need ways to try and improve the situation.
We see 100%, we work 100%, we train 100%. We are going to varsity. We are going to varsity. Destination is varsity. Destination is varsity. Varsity. Destination varsity. Destination is varsity. We see 100%. We work 100%. We train 100%.
Subscribe to our channel, like our videos, turn on the notification button because the destination is varsity. Yes.
My name is Avuyile, and today I was tasked with speaking about the transition from going from undergrad and going to postgraduate studies. And just before I go into that, to give you a bit of background, which you have heard from my bio, I see that today Bizana is represented. I also come from Bizana, which is a small town in the Eastern Cape. And I did most of my primary education there in the Eastern Cape. I then moved to the South Coast in Port Shepstone to do my secondary education, so from grade 7 all the way to grade 12. And then the tertiary education, I did my BSc in chemical engineering in the University of Cape Town. I got that in 2019. And today, this is the gist of what I'm going to be talking about, the transition from that degree that I did to what I'm currently doing now, which is a PhD still in chemical engineering. So the first question for me, I think that was very important, was to say, why did I choose to do postgrad? Now, the reasons for why people do postgrads can be different, either depending on the career that you want to go into, or maybe because of your personal choice or what you just want to do. They can be different depending on what you want to do in life. But for me, I can summarize the reasons, and there are 3 major reasons that I would say I had for choosing to do a postgrad. The first one was to do with the career prospects. So looking into that one, I do want to do research when I finish whatever I'm doing here. So doing a postgrad was the best way to prepare me for that, to learn the skills that are required to be able to do research. So learning skills like critical thinking, problem solving, research, communication, all of those. I felt that doing a postgrad would prepare me for those. And then the second major reason was to look at what best aligns with what I'm interested in. So looking at things like my character, my personality, what keeps me going. And so fundamentally, I'm a curious person, so I like to know what happens beyond the beyond. So I think when I looked at research, it's what appealed to me out of all the things that are available out there in the job market. So that's the second major reason. And I think then the last one is what I've said is the foundation for what I'm doing. So which is my family. I come from a family that is very big on education. So from a young age, they have instilled in us these values of education. And so I think I took from that I would want to continue learning or continue pursuing education. And when it came to university, that took the form of doing a postgrad. And I regard that as the continuous learning. And even beyond that, it's this pursuit of education. So I think for me, these are the major reasons. For different people, these reasons can be different, as I said. But it is important that before, or if you are considering doing postgrad, you first try to figure out why you would want to do that, and note that to yourself before moving forward. Now, this is a question that I think is very interesting. So I understand that most of the audience here is still doing undergrad, first year, second years, some final years. So this is the question that you might have to ask yourself: if does undergrad prepare you for postgrad studies? Interesting question. So I think in my experience, insofar as it relates to academics, I think you are sorted. Your undergrad will teach you everything that you need to know about the ability to learn, so the information that you are given and what you do with that information. So you are sorted there. But what I found that going from undergrad to postgrad, the things that you weren't taught were often the things that made a much bigger, I would say, impact as to how the transition was. So, and those are the things that pretty much depend on you. You can start doing them now, but I feel like in postgrad, those are the things that were more emphasized. So it's different in postgrad in that you don't get told what to do at what time. You don't have classes. You don't have a fixed structure. So you set up your own structure and you follow that. You don't have class test, again, depending on the type of postgrad that you are doing. So for me, those are the things that I found that no one could prepare me for, but I needed to know. So that's the time management, because I set my own structure and I need to follow that. And there's no one who's going to check up on me every step of the way to check if I'm there or not. So that's the time management. And then the other one, yes.
So isikhathi, there's 3 minutes left. I just wanted to inform you that there's 3 minutes left. Apologies once again for cutting you off.
Okay.
Please continue.
All right, thank you for that. And then the other one was the work-life balance. So you need to find a balance that works for you. So you need to know the time to do the work and then the time to do your life outside of that thing that you are doing. And that's very tricky to find because, again, as I said, there's no structure. There's no one who sets the structure for you. So you need to figure that out by yourself. And then the other thing is that I wanted to say in here is that you need to be an active participant in the direction that you would want to take. Again, no one will tell you that. You need to decide for yourself. And there are some things that you can start doing now, even from first year, if you are considering doing postgrad, is that you speak to people that are already doing postgrad, to get involved in societies, clubs, initiatives, things that will challenge yourself so that you can figure out what it is that you want to do post your degree. Now, you can plan all you want, but expectations are often very different from reality. And this was the case for me as well. When I started to do my postgrad, my research, I found that most of the time I was doing things that I did not necessarily enjoy, things that I did not sign up for, boring things, mundane things, but things that I had to go through to get to the things that I wanted to do. The second thing that I found was that you will not always find the answer that you are looking for. This is especially true if you are doing a research-based postgrad, where you are, let's say, doing lab work even. You will not always find the answer, but you have to go through those moments where it's just questions and questions, but no answers. And then the last one is, yeah, it just takes time. Sometimes you'll see people saying that they've been doing their PhD for 5, 6, 7 years. So don't get surprised when you see those. Yeah, and I think this is my last set of slides, but I wanted to bring in the significance of research. Why would you want to do research? And I've just have this quote here from Richard Feynman, one of the greatest physicists of all time. who asked the meaning of it all. So you can plan, do this and do that, but what is the meaning of it all? And when it comes to research, clearly universities do take research as being very important, as seen in their rankings. So for instance, about 60% of the rankings come from research, which is the research and citations in the slide. So it's clearly important. So why is it important? Why is it significant? So I think you can divide this into three different stakeholders, being the university, the society, and you, the person who's doing the research. And you can ask, what is the significance of research? For university, it's easy. Research brings in money, brings in all the funds. It increases the reputation of the university. It also increases the visibility of the university. Those are not trivial things, but it's sort of not directly impacting you. What I find more important for me is what is the significance of research to society and to you, the person who's doing the research. And which is the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. So firstly, to society, you get to address social issues, you get to be, things like health, things like poverty, you get to find the solutions to those things. You are the driver of innovation and economic growth. The economic situation being what it is, we need ways to try and improve the situation. And closer to me, it's just advancing knowledge. And then you, as the person who's doing that research, it's building your skills, the skills of the future, as they call them. I would urge you to read the World Economic Forum there, to see the critical skills that are needed in the coming 5-10 years that will survive whatever is likely to happen.
Sorry.
And
sorry once again for cutting you off. Could you please wrap up? We're enjoying the session very much. Mara, time is not on our side. Could you please wrap up? And apologies.
Yeah, no, this is my last slide. So I just wanted to leave you with this quote. It's from Alan Pellis. It says, "What we do today, others will think of tomorrow. So do something to contribute to those that will come after you." Thank you. And these are my contact details if you wish to contact me after this. But I will be glad to take questions after in the Q&A session. Thank you.
We see 100%.